guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Joe and Kay.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Kay. How have you been?
I haven't talked to you for a long time.
I know.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I think I am too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, neither
right
am I.
now.
Yeah, there's no way of really knowing for me at this point.
I think I'm a little bit burnt out on life right now.
You need
Or
a
maybe I
life
need a nap.
vacay? Oh,
I do.
Yeah, that's called a nap.
Or
Yeah.
a nap.
Well, I think that is a life vacation.
That's true. Like
Yeah.
a 12-hour life
Uh-huh.
vacay. Okay.
Sometimes I feel like I need a 30-hour. I wonder what that would feel like. I wonder if I'd wake up looking like I'm 25. Did you just yawn? You
I
just
did.
turned.
Oh my God.
You just turned from the mic to yawn.
I didn't want to like.
It's so sad. I do have to say that I feel like you deserve some kind of mom award because it is like I showed up here like at 7:09. I come into the house. Your kids are in bed.
They're in bed. It's 6:45 bedtime now.
So
let me tell you what happened. My daughter used to take naps like during the day really well. Well, recently she stopped taking naps and it's been really horrible. And bedtime was at like 7:30, but then she was like not napping, going to bed at 7:30 and then getting up at like 6 in the morning, and that was not working for
She wasn't
me.
getting enough sleep.
No.
Yeah.
And she was horrible during the day. So that lasted about 24 hours. And I said, we're not going to do that. So she stopped taking a nap, and then I put her to bed at 6:45, and now she's sleeping until 7:45 in the morning.
Nice.
All the way through the night without waking up.
Wow.
So she's been in a really good mood during the day.
Oh,
Yeah. And then
That's
my son will
perfect.
just usually read for about an hour, and then he'll go to bed. So from 6:45 to 7:45, he's like reading books, and then he goes to bed.
that's awesome.
It's so nice. And now I'm like, it's bedtime.
Okay.
But I like being in bed really early too. I think everybody knows that about me.
Yeah, I wish I were more
Beauty
like
sleep
that.
for like the inside, not the outside. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever. You're beautiful on the inside out. Okay.
I don't know. That's
are.
questionable sometimes.
So I just want to thank everyone who's been tuning into our show.
Yes, thank you for all your support and listening to us. And oh my God, did you see my shirt today?
Yes, it says coffee till cocktails.
Holla.
That is
I
just
kind of
that
wish it
sums
just
it up.
said coffee till cock.
Oh, that's so
Wouldn't that be really romantic?
That would be. That's so sweet.
But it's cocktails.
It is. And which, they're all so good. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
I'll take either one of them.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. I tried to tell my husband on our anniversary that he was the L of my L. And he was like, what does that even mean? I'm like, you're the love of my life. And he was like, oh, you're the V to my P. I was like, meow.
You guys are so cute.
Isn't
Keep
that
it
disgusting?
going. My husband's all sick right now. There's snot all over my house. I don't even know
Does he have the man cold?
what to tell you. Yeah, he does a pretty good job with his man cold though. I think I'm the one that's like, I'm sick. Can you stay home from work too and help me with the kids? I do that. I am
Really?
annoying. It's horrible. But anyway, he still loves me. So
When I'm sick, I'm like, can you move out of the house?
Uh-huh.
And never come back until I feel better.
Yeah, and
take the kids with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't that.
That
never.
makes sense.
He's like, roll over. And then everybody's just like in bed with me.
That usually happens. I've talked to other moms. That happens too. Like, I'm gonna go lay down at 6. I'm so sick, and then the kids and the husband,
the whole family and the dogs, everyone is in bed with you, and they're like fighting over something ridiculous and kicking you in the face on accident.
No.
And then you can't breathe, and you're like, come on, guys, I just need a nap.
I was looking at beach cabins today, thinking, I wonder if I could just get. That's my ultimate goal.
Speaking of the beach.
What?
Look, I'm just going to bring it up because I can't
Tell
not
me.
bring it up. But have
What?
you been following that Woodland family? the moms
Oh my
who like
gosh. That's a
purposefully
nightmare.
drove off a cliff. Okay, first of all, the news always reminds me about things that I forget that I should be worried about. And second of all, I'm never going to the beach with anybody driving. I'll just drive.
Well, I used to live on the coast, the Oregon coast, and it so frequently happens that people drive off cliffs there that they don't even put it in the news anymore.
Stop it.
No, they don't. They're not. I guess they're not allowed to.
That
There's some
happens a lot.
Yeah. And I used to drive from Lincoln City to Newport, Oregon. And there were quite, probably in the whole time I did it, which was a year, there were probably like 5 times where there were like police all gathered at the edge of a cliff. And I'd come to work and I'd say, hey, this happened. I brought it up once. They said, oh, yeah, this happens a lot. And
that's really traumatizing.
Yeah. One of the kids, I was working at a school at one point, and one of the kids I worked with found a body.
Oh,
Yeah.
at the beach?
Because it was under a bridge. And
go catch it, Fido.
Right.
Could you imagine?
And speaking of, like, this is horrible. It's just going to get into more, like, dark. We're getting dark right now. But do you know who Christian Longo is?
No.
Do you remember that
You
story?
always ask me who people are, and I'm like, no idea.
So I know it because I worked in Newport, and I passed by the places he was a dad who ended up killing his entire family.
You know what? Did he drown them off a bridge? They made a movie about him.
Yes.
Okay.
With Jonah Hill.
Yeah, we watched that movie.
Yes.
That was a really good movie.
It was.
Like in the middle of the night. And I remember in the movie somebody saying they remember the splashing, or it was the kids, or like he killed his wife first and then the kids, or like
there's
something.
he's told the story so many different ways, and he's such a liar that they're not quite sure.
Wait, was that the movie where he was like a journalist and he went to go visit him in prison?
Yes,
and then he started to like consume his identity. That was such a good movie.
It was, yeah. And it didn't get very good ratings, but I watched it and
we really liked it.
I liked it. And but it's horrible. And so I remember one night they wanted to go to cocktails, and I was at the hotel that he was living at.
Did you have coffee first?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
But it was like, it just makes me so sad. And there I guess there's some evidence that his son wasn't dead before he drowned him. They just and he was the oldest. And it just
there was that
me.
Mom in Portland who, I believe it was Portland, who threw her autistic child off the bridge because she could not. Was it Newport?
It was Newport, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was somewhere in Oregon.
It was horrible.
But it was she couldn't deal with it anymore.
Yeah. And she tried to get help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I worked for the county at that time.
Could you imagine like the stress of moms with children who are like high needs, special needs in some way, somehow, and feeling like there's literally no help in the community for them?
Yeah.
That they literally go to that point.
Yep. And her husband had been diagnosed with something horrible. I can't remember what it was. And she was getting no more family help. Yeah. And she had nowhere to turn. And that was like, that's all she could think of to do. Which,
in a weird way, is like thinking of what's in the best interest of both of them. And then doing something horrific.
Yes. And I think a lot of times postpartum murders happen that way as well. Like,
not to say that people who have postpartum are murderers.
No, but like
that with disparity.
And with the moms who, what was her name? Where she drowned all her kids in the bathtub.
Oh, that was here locally. No, it wasn't.
No. I can't remember her name though. But she did. There's been a few local ones that were really bad too. We live in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
So we're it's us in Florida, I feel like, that gets the most
weird. They're bath salty, kind of weird. We're just like depressive weird.
And there's lots of serial killers or serial killings in both places. It's bizarre, but I don't know. I've not spent much time in Florida.
Well,
but
I'm really gonna
here.
sleep great tonight.
I know. we went real dark.
We did. Got really
sorry.
dark,
I've been listening, and I've also been listening to like True Crime Garage and The Disappeared and all these other podcasts. that are
Oh, I don't listen to
traumatizing.
that. I don't want to do that.
I don't know why I do.
I'm fascinated by the JonBenet Ramsey
Oh my gosh.
case. Fascinated.
Yeah. I hear
And
you.
then there was the girl, she got kidnapped by a guy that the family knew.
Hired.
Emily, I believe her name was, and they made a movie about her. And they found her in the woods with him camped out somewhere. And that was like a really crazy.
Was that the Utah one? Like where she lived in Utah? Yeah.
I'm not sure because he came and took her in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And her sister was sleeping
Yes,
in the room.
that's the same one. It was in Utah. Yeah. And
That
they
one.
found her alive.
They didn't. They made a movie about her, and she's like tells her heroic story.
And she wrote a book.
Yeah.
And her mom has said some. I'm not going to quote it correctly,
Mm-hmm.
but she said some really great things about how those people were evil and they did evil things to you, and you have to rise above that. And just
I love that.
Yeah, me too, because it's true.
I really love that.
There's evil we have to rise above. I know.
Oh my god.
I know. So let's
rise above it, honey.
So let's talk about our topic today.
Childcare.
Childcare.
Or the lack of.
Or the lack thereof, as far as Katie is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So shall I go first and explain or talk about my experiences? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with my older daughter, who's now 9, I was home with her,
Mm-hmm.
and my husband and I arranged it. So we're going to school and doing work and, all those things, so
Mm-hmm.
that she didn't have to go. She didn't have to. And that's what I prefer. This last time around with my youngest one, who is now 15 months, I could not. I tried so hard to figure out a way to do that, and I could not. And so I had to hire somebody, and I have no local support, really.
Yeah.
So I went on care.com
Mm-hmm.
thinking, I'll find somebody. And it was really important to me at the time that, if she's not with me, I really want her to learn a foreign language.
Oh, yeah.
And I really want her to, experience some other culture.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get somebody from a different culture in my
Mm-hmm.
home. So I interviewed a bunch of people, probably like 6. And I had decided on a younger woman who is like, I think she was 18 or 19. But she came from a Russian family, and she was the youngest of 12. And she had 40 nieces and nephews.
I
don't even know. So she was like, I have a lot of experience. And I thought that was great. And so for one mistake I made was I didn't make it just about the child care.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, if she's here, she might as well clean up.
Mm-hmm. You're doing something.
So I thought, well, she's sleeping, she can do these things. That turned out to be a lot of stress, I think, for her, because her idea of clean was a lot higher than mine.
Mm-hmm.
So starting at the level I was at and then making it her level, did not work out.
Yeah.
But she started making comments about how, because she knew I'm in the mental health field.
Mm-hmm.
So she started making comments about how depressed she was feeling, and how and she had someone in her family die from SIDS, a baby that was my baby's age at the time. And that was the worst thing to hear about that, and then leave her with. It was just, it was horrible.
Your mom guilt.
Yeah, I was like, I can't. And it was just the worst thing. And so then she told me that my baby was crying so hard that she had to put her down and walk away because she was getting angry.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, that, is
normal.
That sounds like what you probably should do.
Mm-hmm.
But my baby was not really temperamental.
Yeah.
So that concerned me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she told me that she wished that she would have died when she was a baby. And I thought, nope. So I took my baby
we're done here.
and I called my husband and I said, can you let the babysitter go when you come home and get our key and get our car
fire
seat?
her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he did. And he just said, yeah, her job changed. So, which it was true. My job was changing, but it wasn't for another month or two. And she drove. Oh, and the other thing is she had to drive my baby to go pick up my daughter from school. And that scared me so bad. And I drove with her to the school, and we went through it a few times.
Yeah.
It was hard, but I did that. And then my daughter, one day, this was right, like the week before I let her go, she told me that my daughter, my infant baby, was not strapped in the car seat.
Do you think she was for real?
I know. She said, Mom, only the top part was buckled, and the bottom part that buckles into the actual buckle was not hooked in. And my daughter commented on it. She was like, oh, and she fixed it. And
How are you not depressed? Because I am. I'm like freaking out on the inside.
Well, yeah, it was horrible.
As a mom, you think you're doing like all the right things.
Yep.
Right. And then
wasn't.
People are like, oh, I never thought this would happen to me.
Yeah.
And that's
how it happens.
Because no matter how
it
could be anybody though.
Yes.
Not just this situation. It could be a family member, the neighbor you know really, really well. It could be literally anybody.
It's kind of like a trust no one thing with parenting. Because you can hardly trust yourself.
I feel like I am not a conspiracy theorist. Like I'm not at all. Like that's not me.
I would not describe you that way.
But I am with people when it comes to my kids. I analyze every little thing that they say and could twist it and manipulate it and make anybody sound like a horrible monster. And that's the reason why you can't be around my kids.
Well, and my daughter, and I have this whole, what I think is children should be seen, heard, and believed. Yeah. And my daughter kept telling me, my older daughter, she's like, Mom, I don't like her.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't make me feel good. She just gives me weird feelings. And she was also constantly talking about dieting and how fat she was, which is not something that I want my children to be around. Yeah, then I hired the Nextcare.com person who actually turned out to be really great. She's very, very quiet, though. And that was like, I had to get used to that.
Do you talk? Mic? Is the mic on?
Exactly. So we finally got to the point where we were talking more, and I said, it's really hard, because you don't know who you're hiring. And she said, it's also really hard for me as a nanny because I don't know what I'm walking into.
That's true.
And she said that she walked into a family who she was just going to nanny for, and it turned out like she started talking about her boyfriend, and they're like, oh, you can't work for us anymore because we wanted you to
be like a wife?
Yes.
Sister wife?
Yes. To
were
be
they rich?
Part of our relationship. I think they were wealthy. Yeah.
I wonder how much they were going to pay for that.
I don't know. But she was really pretty. And
do they advertise for that?
I don't know how you'd advertise for...
My husband would never go for a sister wife. I watch all those shows. Like Seeking Sister Wives.
Yes.
The one Sister Wives. And then there's another one, 3 Wives and a Husband. That's a new one. Yeah, I watch all those polygamy shows. And I always ask my husband, like, do you want to get another wife? And he's like, F no. That's never going to happen. I can barely keep up with the one that I have.
I watched a few episodes of that, and it stressed me out.
What is that?
It's about a polygamist.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I really find it fascinating how they can all just be like cohesive together. I don't even like when my parents stay at my house from out of town. Like after 24 hours, I'm like, you guys have to go. Like you can't be here anymore. So when family comes, they don't actually stay at my house. No. So I couldn't imagine having like like
living
another
with-
part of your relationship.
The way they did it on Big Love was that there were houses next to each other,
I don't
but they
even
were all
care. I don't
joined
even
in the
like my neighbors
backyard.
that I have right now. You know what I'm saying? So this
No, I
is
hear
just
you.
never gonna work for me.
No. I know. Sorry, your polygamist relationships
really.
that have don't exist.
I'm
aren't gonna-
fascinated by people who live differently
Mhm.
than I do. Like, I'm intrigued by it. I just want to know all about it. I'm very
You
curious.
should come see me in my apartment.
No. Shut up.
It's really interesting. Last night we ate on the floor. We had a floor picnic.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It was really fun. And my little baby is old enough to we had cheese and meat and fruit. And she was eating it. It was very cute and dancing around.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I like that, a floor picnic.
Yeah.
I would do that outside
Yeah, we don't.
in the summertime and then spray the patio off.
We don't go outside. Just kidding.
We don't.
We try not to. We try to avoid
Only
that.
when it's dark out.
Yes.
So we've never really had childcare. I was stay-at-home mom with my son until he was about 2, and then I went to work, the same job that I
So
have
at that
now.
point, did he go to childcare?
No.
Did he go to preschool?
No. So I worked with families, but you just told them basically back in the day when I got hired, like the times you're available.
Oh, okay.
So I was always available from like 4 to 7 at night. So my husband would come home from work, and then I would leave to go to work, and then I would come home at 7:30, and then I would put my son to bed. And then on the weekends when my husband was off, I would work like 14-hour days.
Okay.
And then during the day, I had like a cleaning company, and I would actually go and clean houses and take my son with me. So all my clients that I had just knew that I had a baby, and I would just take him with me to clean. So like I was working full time, but just not in the, full time, the typical 9 to 5 thing. And that has been pretty much his whole life. And then when he was 3, I did homeschool co-op with some other moms in our area, but I didn't work during the day, so that was like never a conflict of interest. Yeah. And then he started private tutoring a couple of days a week, but it was only 2 hours a day. So then I would like go, do like a short session with a family during that time.
Wow.
And then, but by the time he started kindergarten, I was already pregnant. Or it was, he started kindergarten. I was like a month after he started kindergarten, I found out I was pregnant with my second one. And then with her, the same thing. I just worked around my husband's schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm full-time, same, working from home all the time. And then the days that my husband is off or not working, I go into the office. And like his schedule just switched. So he is 4 on 3 off. So now he's going to be off 2 days during the week, which is really helpful because it gives me more time during the week.
Yeah.
And then I have like my a friend from church who I've known for like forever. And we're pretty much family now. Like we actually spend family or like holidays together, and that's my daughter calls her grandma. And
Aww.
yeah, so like she's gonna be the flower girl in her daughter's wedding this summer, so we're all very close. But she'll help me if I have like a meeting during the day that I need to go to, and my husband's at work. So it's never more than like 2 or 3 hours at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we recently got a babysitter to do like date nights, and it's a teenage girl who lives across the street. And we kind of got to know their family for about a year before we asked her to come and babysit. She's a twin, and they're both like, oh my gosh, super smart girls, honor roll. They play softball. It's only the 2 of them. Really nice parents.
I had twin babysitters growing up.
Did you?
And they were amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was funny because one was more outgoing and the other one was more quiet.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's how it is. And it's
Uh-huh.
funny because I talked to her about the different personalities between my son and daughter, and she talks about the different personalities between the girls, even though they were born at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter is very connected to the girl who watches my kids, and her mom says that she had the same temperament as my daughter does, and it's like they're like very like kindred spirits.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
yeah.
That's nice.
So my daughter gets super excited, which she doesn't get excited about a lot of people. Like she doesn't like when I'm leaving. And at first it was like, wait a second, you're leaving, but where are you going? And like what's happening here? Because they didn't know like what the whole babysitter thing was. Um, but now she's like really cute about it. She's like, you're gonna be fancy and go on a date with your husband.
That's so cute.
Oh, why do you go on dates? I'm like, because you have to date your husband.
Yeah, you do.
You have to date your husband. You have to be his girlfriend. Even
Yes.
when you're wife and you've been married for a long time, you still got to date and
I
keep
have
it hot.
I've told my husband that I need a boyfriend. I've told him that. Like, I need you to be my boyfriend.
Yeah, you
And-
can't let that go.
Yeah. And he didn't, I don't think he'll get it.
Yeah,
He'll
I'm
listen to
still
this.
my husband's girlfriend.
It's important.
It's so important.
Yeah,
Even
you're
after all the
still
years.
trying to woo me.
Mhm.
Like, come on. And I do little things too. I try.
Well, yesterday was our actual anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. So we went to a Brazilian steakhouse in Portland. Like we do
Nice.
every year. You know, we're a pretty routine family.
Aw, well, yeah, I've got that. Gathered that.
It was all crazy. I was out until 8:30 last night.
What? You? No.
It was crazy.
No wonder you're tired today.
I'm so tired. I stayed out till 8:30 last night.
Girl.
And my
you need it.
babysitter cleaned my house for me while I was gone. Like I literally came home and she was cleaning the windows. She washed all the windows downstairs. She steam mopped my kitchen floor, which my house is never dirty anyways.
Yeah, I know.
But yesterday I did tell her, like, before I left, I was a little stressed out because I didn't get a lot of stuff done because I did all of upstairs yesterday and I didn't get downstairs. But she knows where my household manual is. And she pulled through it and, like, literally got all the rags with the corresponding cleaner because it's all, like, color-coded. Like, all the gray rags are for
You're going to have to
the
teach. You're going to have to come to
stainless
my
steel and all
home.
the...
And make a binder for me. We're gonna have to maybe make your binder available for people to purchase.
I don't think that they would like that.
I think they would, because I think that's genius.
So-
I don't even know. Like, you'll come over and be like, "What?
What are you doing?
This?
Where is this?
Yeah, what?"
So yeah, everything is like color coded. That way you know what rag is for what. So it's all color coded and then it goes with the cleaner. So it's like you use this cleaner for this and this cleaner for that.
So how about the holy sock I use, like
No.
down my counters?
We're not
Is
doing
that?
that. We're not doing that. You better throw that thing away, honey. Or put it in the microwave for 32 seconds to
You
kill
taught me
all
that
the-
tip. I was like, what? I didn't know this
Did you
was
do
a
it?
thing. Yes, I do now.
Hello, and it
'Cause they
doesn't
didn't-
stink, does
no.
it? No, and
Because I go through, was going through sponges. Like,
no, you just microwave them.
now I know. Because you taught me, Kay.
Yeah, you just microwave it and it kills all the germs, and then you can just keep going. Hello, amazing. My kids are sick. I feel like from the time that they really start their symptoms until about 48 hours after the symptoms go away, every day is the same thing. I stripped all their bedding, all the clothes that they had, everything, and I wash it in hot water and bleach. My kids have white sheets and white pillowcases because I'm constantly like bleaching everything.
It's like a hotel.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
when they get sick, all it comes off, and then I am like sanitizing doorknobs and remote controls and light switches. And then they're not allowed to have any dairy, anything with like even just a little bit of sugar in it, even their vitamins that have sugar in it or like any type of sweetener. Not allowed to have that. You're not allowed to have any fruit, nothing. It's literally like a bland diet until but loaded up with probiotics and
To kill
colloidal
everything.
silver
Yes.
and elderberry syrup, and we just load up. And my kids aren't really sick.
Yeah.
But we don't vaccinate either, and that's a whole other.
We'll get into that because that will be our topic for next time is vaccinations.
And I love like talking to parents about that. Like some moms get really like
mad. People get angry.
No, don't get angry.
Mhm.
Like if you feel like you need to vaccinate your kids, then vaccinate them. Because you know what? Here's the truth, and I know we'll talk about this. But I'm just gonna say this. One time my son got hurt and he was at the hospital. And it wasn't like anything significant, but it was when we had just gotten our puppy. And it was Super Bowl Sunday, and we had everybody over here, and he was rolling around with the puppy on the floor. Well, her nail, like she went to like put her paw out, not aggressive.
Yeah.
But the nail went in his ear and then sliced it open. Like the whole, like sliced his whole earlobe, like in half.
Wow.
So his ear was bleeding, and he came to me, and I put my finger behind his ear, and like my finger went through his ear. And I'm like, okay, this is not normal. So I take him to urgent care.
Mm-hmm.
And the nurse and the doctor, well, first of all, the doctor was really nice. And he was like, yeah, blood, it's a clean, like, I wouldn't, do an antibiotic shot or like a vaccination or anything like that to your comfort level. And I even said, it's clean, it's not jagged, it bled right away, which, brings a lot of oxygen to it and
Mm-hmm.
bleeding. And typically when there's a lot of blood, and clean, it really kills and it reduces your, chances of getting tetanus. I'm not a doctor, okay?
Yep.
Don't listen to me. I'm just a mom who, whatever. So the nurse comes in and she's like, well, if he does get tetanus, like his ear will blow up. And by the time he's like showing symptoms, it's like too late and he can be in paralysis. And I'm like, but still, even with tetanus, it's like 50-50.
So
like
she tried the fear tactics.
And it worked. And my husband's friend was actually with me. And I was like, I started crying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I was so scared. And I actually gave in and I gave him the tetanus shot because I was so scared.
Yeah.
And then I was scared afterwards. Like I couldn't even like let him sleep at night without checking on him, and I cried. And he was 8 years old when he had his first vaccination, and it really like scared me. So I've had some like really positive conversations, but my midwife and both doctors, even my son's doctor, was not a naturopath or anything when he was little. And, this was 10 years ago where it was like rare that people like were not vaccinating their kids, everyone has always been fine about it, but except for that one lady, and I felt like just a horrible, shitty mom in that moment that I actually I allowed somebody to get me scared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm glad we'll talk about that.
Yeah. We will.
You
and I think, have very different views on it, but I don't ever get mad. Like, I think that you have to do what you think is best as a parent for your kids, and you have to have all the information, and I really feel like both of us do, and there's pros and cons to both, and it's either you do or you don't, and and luckily my kids have had no
like
adverse reactions to.
Well, it scares me like with my daughter because she has an egg allergy, and some of the vaccinations.
Oh, yeah, it's an egg.
Yeah, and that like scares me.
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
and some vaccinations they can't guarantee that they're gluten free, and both my kids are. So that's not just like, I'm not saying, well, if the vaccination was gluten free, that's not what I'm saying. It's just my own.
And there's all kinds of gory, nasty things that we'll talk about.
But it's like home birth, hospital birth, vagina, or C-section.
Right.
Like, whatever choice you make, somebody's going to come down and be like, you're killing your kid, you're killing yourself.
Yes.
You're
Did
a stupid
you know?
mom.
And this is, well, I should probably, there's a tidbit actually. Well, no, I'll just tell it. Ashland, Oregon. is the number one place in the country that has the fewest infant vaccinations, or the fewest children that
Really?
with yes.
And what are their statistics?
Um,
Are they healthy?
well, so far they're worried about
The herd immunity?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a concern.
Yeah, but people always say like measles and all these things that we've had, they are pretty significant, but nobody's ever actually died from measles. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a 1% chance that you'll die from measles or whatever their like statistics are or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And it's interesting.
It is what it is.
It is. And like polio, the main way kids got it was from urine in pools.
That's so gross.
And
do you remember being little and they're like, don't pee in the pool because it'll turn green?
The dye?
Yeah,
Yes.
it'll turn green.
Yeah.
I had a coworker ask me if I've ever peed in the pool, and I responded, yeah, only to make sure it turned green. And they didn't laugh. And I thought that was so funny. Like, that's the only reason why you pee in the pool is to see if it really does turn green.
It doesn't, did it?
No.
Yeah, I know.
They just say that to you so you're not that nasty kid that's like all sitting over there in your little floaty peeing.
Now pools are treated with chlorine. But back then when polio was around, they weren't.
They're all just swimming in urine.
Yeah, they're swimming in pee. Yeah, we'll talk about it. But anyway, so it is that time to grab your iced tea or your coffee.
Or your wine. Or your cocktail.
I like the way you said it. Cocktail.
My cocktail.
Yes. I'm going to have a lemon drop. Those are delicious. Anyway.
I have a whiskey 7.
What is your...
My mom fail?
Mom fail.
Well, this is a good one.
All right.
I always have, like, my mom fail themes is, like, somehow me lying to my kids.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
But you know what's funny is, like, we don't do, like, the Easter Bunny or, like, Santa Claus or anything like that because it's, like, lying to your kids. But here I go. So, anyways, my husband had an eye doctor appointment, and he let my daughter have a dum-dum. Like one of those things.
Like the lollipops?
Yeah. And I was like,
what?
Oh, hell no. Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm.
So I told her, she's like, but she called it a popsicle. She doesn't know like what, like the difference of that is. So anyway, I'm like, that's how you get sugar bugs on your teeth. So sugar bugs are what like gets in your mouth when you eat too much junk food, and it literally eats your teeth and your gums, right? And I'll show them pictures of like little kids with like rotting teeth, and I'll be like, they had sugar bugs and they weren't taking care of your teeth or their teeth.
That's not a total lie.
No,
I mean, it is
that's
kind
real.
of yeah.
No, that's real.
Yeah, that's explaining it on their level. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, it was like a day later, and my daughter's still talking about this popsicle, and when can she have another one, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, no.
So we were eating, I don't remember what we were eating, and she had like on her bottom tooth, like a little speck of pepper. And I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, what? And I'm like, we need to go brush your teeth. I think there's a sugar bug in your mouth. And she's like, right now? And she like started freaking out. So I went to go brush her teeth, and I got the little piece of pepper, and it was on her toothbrush, and I showed it to her. I'm like, look right there, that's a sugar bug. And she was like, I'm never doing that again. Never, ever, ever. So now she like wants me to brush her teeth extra to make sure there's no sugar bugs. And then we went to the place to go pick up his glasses, and the whole time she was like, I'm not eating that because that's how you get sugar bugs in your mouth, and I want to take care of my teeth. So now we're done. We recovered from the lollipop accident, and I'm pretty sure I have her brainwashed to never do that again.
So when she's like older and she has OCD where she's constantly brushing her teeth
because she doesn't want sugar bugs, I'll be like, you know, I was just kidding, right? They're cavities. They're not sugar bugs.
Oh, I know.
So anyways, that's
I love it.
What a
it's
special
hard.
mom.
I think it's hard. I was thinking, because I work very strengths-based, and like it's pretty negative that we're always like giving our mom fails.
I know.
But
Whatever.
I don't. My mom was like, "What if you guys run out of mom feels?" And I was like, "Oh, mom,
Whoa.
that's sweet that you
No
think
shortage
so
there.
sweet.
You're really strength-based.
You're so sweet, mom, that you think that I would
Would-
have a. Anyway, mine this week was pretty bad. Let me tell you. So I'm a stepmom as
Mhm.
well as a mom,
Mhm.
and I have had my stepdaughter in my life since she was 3. And, I have screwed up numerous times. Um, but before I even married my husband,
Mhm.
I was reading parenting, like how to parent a stepchild.
Mhm.
I didn't want to screw up.
Right.
One of the main themes in all the books I read was do not talk bad about
The parent.
the parent.
Mhm.
Even if they're talking bad about the parent, just support them, listen to him. Don't say,
Mhm.
yeah, your mom's a real whore, or yeah, if I had, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
don't do that.
yeah, don't. So I try not to, and I try to be really positive, even though it's difficult at times.
Mhm.
But my husband's a horrible planner, and I'm just going to put that out
I
there.
think that's men in
I
general.
and I, th- I
They're
think
not
it is.
good at
And so his
planning.
plan was, she lives 3.5 hours away,
Mhm.
and then it was Easter weekend,
Mhm.
and so his plan was to go and pick her up and bring her back to our house,
Mhm.
and then for all of us to drive back to where she lives so that we could stay with my parents who happen to live in the same place,
Mhm.
and she could go do her softball stuff. That was the plan. And I said, you're going to miss Easter morning. And how about, and I didn't realize that her mom was going on a trip.
Mhm.
And anyway, it all came down to my husband's mother calling him at church on Sunday saying that it's just a bunch of drama. I'm not even going to get into it. It's not worth getting into.
Oh my god.
But my stepdaughter had apparently called his mom
Mhm.
and just ripped him apart. And this is a man who will leave after work on Friday during rush hour to go see his daughter.
Yeah.
And we stay home
Mhm.
because there's not a lot of room at my parents' place.
Mm-mm.
And I have to work on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I can't go. And my
Mhm.
baby's still being breastfed. And anyway, so I let her have it. And I said, you're unappreciative. Your mom never has you on spring break.
Yeah.
And she's in Las Vegas. Isn't that nice? And she said something like, well, if she would have known that I was going to be alone on Easter morning and Easter, we're going to be there at 5:00 in the afternoon. I didn't know she was alone. And she said, if I would have gone to Las Vegas with them. And I said, really? They'd really want you in Vegas with them. It was horrible. It was
Jay.
bad. I was so angry because we have sacrificed so much.
Mhm.
And whenever her mom
think
says, I
they'll-
need more money, we
Yeah.
give them more money. That's not even court. We give them above
Yeah.
what? We just go above and beyond, I feel all the time. And is
Yeah.
it her job to appreciate it? No. She's a kid. She doesn't know.
Right. That's not her
And
role.
no, it's not. And is it her job to, and I always ask the question, did they ask to be born? And did they ask for their parents to get divorced?
Yeah. No.
No. And I would always say, when she was younger, she was like, I wish my parents would never have gotten divorced.
Mhm.
I'd say, I wish your parents never got divorced too.
Yeah.
Because
It's horrible.
it is horrible. And
Yeah.
when going through school, I learned that is it harder to lose a parent to death or lose a parent to divorce? And divorce is harder.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
it's horrible, and what these kids go through. And her parents got separated when she was 9 months old.
Yeah.
And she has been dealing with it ever since. It's horrible to watch. It's horrible to be a part of. And it's horrible that I had that reaction.
Yeah.
And I was so negative.
Yeah.
And I just, it gave me opportunity to say, I'm sorry and I screwed up and can we move forward? And she was like, yes, of course. I love you. And I was really upset about a lot of things. It wasn't just that. And I shouldn't have called Dad. And I said, no, you call whoever you need to make yourself feel better or talk whoever you need to. Like, do whatever you need to do. I need to react different.
Mm-hmm. I think, though, that's, like, just parenting in general. I think that when we're mad or we've, like, reached our tipping point, whether it's our own kids or like, a family member, I think that we'll just snap. And unfortunately, you had that moment with her. And
I did.
Parenting
I've had
sucks,
many before
whether it's,
that.
like, your natural parent or a step parent or whatever, like.
Well, there's a way to stay. I should have stayed out of it and not said anything. And I shouldn't have, like, called her when I was mad, right? Don't call your stepdaughter when you're mad about, and I wasn't really mad at her.
Don't even call your husband when you're mad. That never works out for me.
Yeah, no, that doesn't for me either.
No.
It just turns into, my husband's very calm and he says, what, are you trying to pick a fight with me? And it just makes me more angry.
That would trigger me.
I can't handle it.
Literally trigger me.
I just can't.
No.
And he won't. And I'm a very passionate, very, like, verbal person. And he is very quiet and very controlled in everything.
No.
And
my husband are pretty much the same. We're both emotional and we're both, like, hot-handled.
What?
So, like, if I start going in on him, he's going to throw it right back to me. And then I feel about this big and I'll be like, I was just kidding.
Haha.
I'll see you when you get home. I love you.
What is your product?
So, my product this week is, so I use a lot of spray tan. I love spray tanning. I'm super pasty white, like ghostly white.
I'm so glad I'm
like see-through.
Yeah.
I am. And I don't like it. Like, my nickname growing up when I was little, like a toddler, was Snow White because I had, like, black hair, pasty white skin, and, like, really red lips because I was so white. Like, gothic, naturally, you know?
I like that. Like the Evanescence look.
No. Anyway, so I've been trying all these, like, I do have my top favorites, but the one that I'm stuck on right now is the Miami Gorgeous Self-Tanning Mousse. It is sulfate-free, gluten-free, and it's amazing. So it doesn't come with a mitt, and my tip to spray tanning is I used to do it with my bare hand, and then I would do it with a glove, and then I would use the barrier cream so my hands wouldn't turn orange. Okay, I don't do any of that anymore. I buy one of those, it's like a microfiber mitt, and it literally puts your spray tan on like butter, and it's so even and so everything, and then I just soak in it for about 8 hours, and then I take a shower and I exfoliate my hands really good and my feet so that they don't get like
the orange
chunky, like
the
around
spray
their
tan
hands.
look.
But I should back up. So after I get done, I always put lotion all over my hands and like a little bit up to my wrist, and then I wash my hands, and then I do the same to my feet so that they don't get like streaky or weird, because that's like the hardest parts of your spray tan is your hands and your feet. And then I take a shower and then I exfoliate my hands and my feet again. And then I'll usually shave my legs even if they don't need to, because it takes off that extra layer. So even if you are streaky and you shave your legs, it gives it like a really nice, even brown glow. So, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, all tanned and ready to go. Sometimes I'll do an ombre tan. That's where I just tan my face and my arms and nothing else. I do that in the winter. So it's like everything from here down is like ghostly white. But like my arms and my face are all tan because that's the only thing people will see.
I kind of like it. That's... See,
all
all this stuff sounds...
ombre tan.
You just made me tired thinking about doing that to myself.
No,
I'm all about getting things
amazing.
done, but that's really expensive.
No, it's not.
And so
it's $18 for one bottle, and that bottle will last me. I could probably tan myself about 10 to 15 times with that one $18 bottle.
Wow.
So when you break it down, it's not a lot.
Oh no,
of money
I'm saying I don't do things myself.
Oh.
So I'd have to go in.
No.
And then that's expensive.
Yeah, that's expensive.
And so
I'm
then
not
I'm
doing
just,
all that.
I guess this is what I am.
I love.
Because you look really good. I was wondering, I'm appreciating all these secrets.
Thanks. No, it's just not natural.
I thought it was.
No.
Well, it looks really good.
That's why my like color fluctuates throughout the week.
I don't ever notice. I just always think.
I'm like, oh, you are looking a little pasty today, honey. You need a little pick-me-up. One time I did a spray tan. It was like the actual aerosol, and it came out really chunky and like actually blotches on my face, and I couldn't get them to come off, so I put my makeup on. It literally just looked like I had extra freckles all over my face, but really it was just like the way the spray tan came out and landed on my face. It was actually blobs of spray tan, but I just put my makeup on and just rolled with it like I had these gorgeous like cute random freckles all over my face.
Sunshine.
That was not freckles, honey. Literally stained on my face.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks
so what's
sharing.
your product?
Oh, I feel like I already shared it. I just was so excited about yours. I feel like so Tic Tac gum. What?
Oh, I saw it on TV.
I'm a gum addict.
Are
I don't
you?
know if you know this. Yes, I love gum. And so I bought the white Tic Tacs are my favorite. I think they're the fresh flavor. So delicious.
You called it the white flavor earlier.
I did.
That was like the best thing I ever heard.
The white flavor.
Girl, the white flavor.
I don't know what it is. It's so good. And so I think they might have orange. That's my next favorite flavor. Luckily, the orange, the color and the flavor are the same.
Do you remember like candy cigarettes when we were growing up?
Yes.
I had like the skating Barbie that like the skates like lit up.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And I remember like trying to light the rollerblades to see if the cigarette would light up. What a sweet childhood memory.
That was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
Really,
I remember getting my friend April from across the street to come over, and we mixed all the chemicals I could find in my house, which was Comet, bleach,
before you perfected your meth recipe.
Yeah, I think I was inventing meth.
You probably did.
It was probably me. And we didn't smoke it, but we put rocks in it and tried to dye the rocks. And my mom found this concoction, and she was like, "What is this?"
They're like, "Oh, it's just poison."
Yeah.
We've been inhaling it the whole time.
Where was my mom?
Are you floating right now?
Mom, yeah, we were just... April and I needed something new in our life. We had
this little boy down the street. So there was like a whole bunch of us in our neighborhood that we would play together, but it was always like this really love-hate relationship. And this kid's name was Jeremiah, and we used to sing that song, "Jeremiah was a bullfrog."
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
And he would get so mad, and we would sing it like really loud on the bus.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Jeremiah wasn't gonna play with us, and we kicked him out, and he went crying like all the way home. And then we're like, "Oh, poor Jeremiah!" And then all of the light bulbs went off, ting 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 ting, and we found this like water bottle underneath our house. Because, like, where we grew up in the South, like, all the houses are kind of built, elevated up because of the floodwaters. Mm-hmm. So, like, our house was literally on cinder blocks. Real cute. So we found this water bottle, and we literally, like, mixed mud in the water bottle and then rinsed it off with the hose the outside and took it to his house. And we're like, "We're sorry, we were being mean. Our mom made a milkshake and we wanted you to have some."
My gosh.
And we're all standing around, and he was like, "Oh geez, thanks guys." And he like drank it and then spit it out, and he was like, "It's mud," and it was all in his teeth. And then he like ran inside. He was like, "I'm never gonna be your friend again."
Are you sure that wasn't just the bugs?
The sugar bugs?
Yeah.
It might have been. All those sugar bugs in his teeth.
Poor little guy. Do you feel bad, or do you look back on this and like laugh hard?
It's just funny because we grew up in it, like, we were never supervised. I cannot tell you, like, one time one of the neighborhood kids Brandon, we found rope and we just thought it would be funny to like tie him to the chain link fence, except we tied him way too tight and he started turning purple and blue. And like some random person driving down the street, we're like, "Can you help us uncut him?" And he like got hedge clippers and was like just randomly hedge clipping rope off of some kid tied to a chain link fence and then was like, "All right, be careful, guys." And like drove away. And it was like, where were his parents? Where were my parents like when all this was going down?
Yeah, I always
like,
had that question.
And I'm pretty sure that fence was like right in my front yard. Like you could see from the living room window. Like no supervision.
Uh-oh.
We just did weird things all the time, or we would like push that same kid into the sewer ditch because there was like a big hole in our cedar fence, and his grandpa would always make him take his clothes off in the front yard and hose him down to get the sewer water off of him. So we would like hide in the bushes, and when he would ride his bike by, we would run out and push him into the sewer ditch, and then we would like run over to the fence and like all just stand there around the peephole waiting for him to go into the front yard so his grandpa would take his clothes off.
I think maybe you should stop talking because I think you might have some charges against you. That's horrifying.
And this was all before I was like 6 years old. Could you imagine?
No, I think I had limited supervision. I remember doing
We were just
things.
really creative. Like no one ever got hurt and we were always still friends afterwards.
Yeah.
Like it was the weirdest.
I went on a deer hunt one time. We were gone for hours. We were just looking for a deer. We thought we could catch it.
One time we found puppies in the woods and we sold them for like 10 cents or something ridiculous. And my puppy, I named it Hickey because it kept like sucking on everything. But then now that I realize it was probably so small and like still wanted to suckle.
Oh my gosh. You're going to make me cry and throw up.
Oh my gosh.
Did you sell them? Did they live?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
They were probably like wild dogs.
They probably were.
Yeah.
You,
I'm like, good
maybe
luck
you
on
saved them.
We
Let's
would
try to look at it from a different.
Yeah,
from a
we would
different
sell
angle.
all kind. We would have lemonade stands all the time, and then our puppy stand selling puppies, and that actually worked out. People were like buying them from us.
That's really successful.
I don't know what they
You're
were
a little.
doing.
You were a little entrepreneur.
Oh yes, and we would like go fishing with bologna and a stick and a string. That actually does work, by the way. You can fish with bologna. Yeah, we did
Wow.
crazy things as a kid growing up.
So I have my stepdaughter when she
Mhm.
was like 12 or 13. We lived at the coast and we lived right around the corner from an arcade. And I told her, like, we could see it from our house.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, how about I'll meet you at the arcade? I'll give you $20 and you can go to the arcade and I'll be right there.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to get there first. You're about
Yeah.
the size of an adult, you know,
Mhm.
like you're the size you're going to be. How about let's
Go.
start getting some independence?
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she's like, do you want me to get killed? Do you want me to get kidnapped? And my daughter's a little bit like that too.
Yeah.
And one time I actually did let her go off by herself. Like
Mhm.
she had a destination. I knew where she was going.
Yeah.
And my husband almost lost it.
Oh
He was
my
like,
gosh.
why did you I said, do you remember what we did when we were kids?
Yeah.
Like I left in the morning on my bike
And we
came
didn't come
back
home until nighttime.
when the streetlights came
and
on. That was
nobody
the rule.
ever asked where we were at.
No, I never got.
My son's gone for like 2 minutes, and I'm like looking out the window like a
What's
stalker.
going on?
Like, who kidnapped my
Yeah.
son? I didn't hear him scream. Yeah.
And it's interesting because I'm listening to these podcasts and all these kids have gone missing like 1992, like when
Stop
I was
it.
10, like
Right?
right around that age when I was doing that stuff. I was like, oh, so
When
there
we have
were
to think about stranger danger.
yeah, there
They're
were
like,
weirdos out there getting these kids.
probably buying some puppies from
Yeah.
some weird little kids.
Can you put them in my van for me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We open the door. I'll hop on in.
I've got candy.
Oh my God. All right, guys. We will talk to you on our next episode. Email us, message us, whatever you want to do. We would love to hear
It's
from you.
number 4, real talk, JK, as in Joe and K, at gmail.com.
Hit us up, boo.
And we're also on Instagram under For Real Talk JK. And we have some funny stuff going on there. We have quite a few followers. We appreciate all the support.
Yeah.
All right,
Message
thanks.
us. Have a great day.